My wife has forbidden me from being home when her attractive friends visit. She tells them I'm on a business trip or sick. Recently, I found out she's been showing them photos of her ex-boyfriend, presenting him as her current husband. So this is gonna sound weird, but I need to get this off my chest because it's eating me alive. My wife Sarah has been doing something that's making me question everything about our marriage, and I honestly don't know if I'm overreacting or if this is as messed up as it feels. We've been married for 3 years, together for 5 total. I'm 32, she's 29. I work from home most days, which is important for what I'm about to tell you. Sarah has this group of friends from college. Let's call them the Instagram crew, because they're all stupidly attractive and constantly posting perfect photos of their perfect lives. You know the type. Here's where it gets weird. Every time these specific friends come over, Sarah asks me to run errands or visit my mom, or basically just disappear. At first, I thought it was normal couples need space with their friends, right? But then I started noticing a pattern. It was only with these friends. When her other friends come over, the ones who are more normal looking, I guess she's totally fine with me being around. She'll introduce me, we'll all hang out, everything's cool. But with the attractive friends, I'm suddenly persona non grata in my own house. She'll literally text me when I'm upstairs working, asking me to go grab groceries or take a long walk, because the girls are coming over. When I asked her about it once, she got defensive and said she just wanted girl time and that I wouldn't understand their conversations anyway. I started getting suspicious when I overheard her on the phone with one of them. She was explaining why I couldn't come to some group dinner, and she said, "I kid you not, oh, Mark's out of town on business again. He travels so much for work." Which is complete bullshit because I work from home and haven't traveled for work in over a year. Last month, I was supposed to pick up Sarah from one of their girls' nights. I got there early and decided to wait in the car rather than go in. Through the window, I could see them all sitting around the living room, and Sarah was showing them something on her phone. They were all looking at the screen and making those exaggerated ooh and ah sounds that women make when they're impressed by something. Curiosity killed the cat, right? When we got home, I asked Sarah what she was showing them. She got this weird look on her face and said it was just photos from our vacation. But we haven't been on vacation in months. I let it slide, but something felt off. The breaking point came 2 weeks ago. I was working late in my home office when I heard Sarah's friends arriving. I didn't think much of it until I heard my name mentioned. I crept to the top of the stairs. Yeah, I know, not my proudest moment, and listened. One of them was asking about me, wondering why they never see me anymore. And Sarah, fuck, this still hurts to think about. Sarah said, "Oh, he's been so busy with work lately. He's actually in Chicago this week for a big project." I was literally upstairs, in our house, working. But then it got worse. Much worse. I heard one of them say, "Can you show us that cute photo of him again? The one from your anniversary." And Sarah said, "Oh sure, let me find it." I snuck down a few more steps and could partially see into the living room. Sarah was scrolling through her phone, and when she found what she was looking for, she held it up for them to see. Even from my angle, I could clearly see it was a photo of her with Ryan, her ex-boyfriend from college. The same Ryan she dated for 2 years before we met. The same Ryan who looks like he stepped out of a Men's Health magazine. My heart just stopped. I watched my wife show her friends a photo of her with another man and present him as her husband. Me. Her actual husband was hiding on the stairs like a fucking criminal in his own house. I managed to sneak back upstairs without being heard, but I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying the scene over and over, trying to make sense of it. Was I dreaming? Did I misunderstand what I saw? But deep down, I knew exactly what had happened. The next morning, I confronted Sarah. I told her what I'd seen and heard. She went through the typical stages: denial, anger, deflection. She accused me of spying on her, of not trusting her, of being paranoid. But when I pressed her on the photo, she finally broke down. I don't know why I did it," she sobbed. "They're always talking about their boyfriends and husbands, and they're all so, and I felt embarrassed. Embarrassed. Of me, her husband." She tried to explain that it wasn't about me personally, that she loved me for who I was, but that she felt insecure around these particular friends. She said they were all married to or dating these incredibly good-looking, successful guys, and she felt like she needed to keep up. I asked her how long this had been going on. She admitted it started about a year ago, shortly after we moved to this new city where she reconnected with this group. She said she'd only shown them Ryan's photo a few times, and that she'd been making up stories about my work travel to explain why I was never around when they visited. Reddit, I'm so fucking lost right now. On one hand, I love this woman. We have a good relationship otherwise. We laugh together, we support each other, we have great conversations and good, well, everything else. But on the other hand, she's literally been living a double life, presenting herself as married to someone else to maintain some kind of social status with her friends. I don't even know what I'm asking here. Am I overreacting? Is this something couples can work through? Or is this a red flag so big that it's visible from space? I keep thinking about how it felt to hide in my own house, to feel like I wasn't good enough to be seen with my own wife. I think about all the times she's asked me to leave when these friends come over, and now I know why. It wasn't about girl time. It was about hiding me. How do you come back from something like this? How do you rebuild trust when your partner has been ashamed of you for months? I'm meeting with my brother tomorrow to talk through this, but I wanted to get some outside perspective first. Please be honest with me, even if it hurts. I need to know if I'm being crazy or if this is as fucked up as it feels. TLDR. Wife has been hiding me from her attractive friends for over a year, telling them I'm traveling for work when I'm actually home. Discovered she's been showing them photos of her ex-boyfriend, presenting him as her current husband, me. Don't know how to process this or move forward. Update 1. Holy shit, Reddit. I did not expect this to blow up the way it has. Thank you to everyone who took the time to respond, even the brutal ones. I needed to hear all of it. A lot of you asked for an update, and honestly, I wasn't sure I'd have one this soon. But things have moved fast, and I needed to share what's happened because I'm still processing it all. First, I want to address some of the comments. Yes, I know I should have confronted this earlier. Yes, I know hiding on the stairs wasn't the most mature approach. And yes, I realize now that this was way worse than I initially thought. Your responses helped me see that. So, I met with my brother Mike the day after I posted. Mike's been married for 10 years, and he's always been the one in our family who tells it like it is. I told him everything, the hiding, the lies, the photos of Ryan. I expected him to tell me I was overreacting, that marriage is complicated, that everyone has issues. Instead, he got quiet for a long time. Then he said something I'll never forget. Dude, she's treating you like you're her dirty little secret. That's not love, that's shame. But then Mike surprised me. He didn't tell me to leave Sarah or that the marriage was over. Instead, he asked me, do you think she knows how much this is hurting you? Like, really knows? I realized I wasn't sure. Sarah knew I was upset, but I don't think she understood the depth of what her actions were doing to me. Mike suggested something I hadn't considered. Instead of just confronting her about the lying, maybe I needed to help her understand the real impact of what she was doing. Sometimes people get so caught up in their own insecurities that they can't see how they're hurting the people they love, Mike said. But if she really loves you, she needs to face what she's done and figure out how to fix it. I went home that evening with a different perspective. Instead of being angry, I felt sad. Sad for both of us. Sad that she felt so insecure that she thought she needed to lie. Sad that I had been accepting this treatment. Sad that we had gotten to this point. I found Sarah in our bedroom folding laundry. She looked up when I came in, and I could see the anxiety in her eyes. She was waiting for me to explode, to demand answers, to accuse her of more lies. Instead, I sat down on the bed and said, I need you to help me understand something. When you show your friends photos of Ryan and tell them he's your husband, how do you think that makes me feel? She stopped folding and looked at me with this confused expression. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about. I want you to really think about it, I said. Your husband is upstairs in your house, and you're downstairs showing people photos of another man, telling them he's your husband. How would you feel if I did that to you? I watched her face change as she really considered it for the first time. Her eyes filled with tears, and she sat down heavily on the bed. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, Mark, I never thought about it like that." We talked for 3 hours that night. Not arguing, not accusing, just talking. Sarah told me about how inadequate she felt around her college friends, how she felt like she had peaked in college and everyone else had moved on to better things. She said seeing their husbands and boyfriends made her feel like she had settled, even though she loved me. I told her how it felt to be hidden away, how it felt to discover she was presenting another man as her husband. I told her how I had started to question my own worth, wondering if I really was as unattractive and embarrassing as her actions suggested. She cried harder than I've ever seen her cry. She said she had never meant to make me feel that way, that she had been so focused on her own insecurities that she hadn't considered how her actions were affecting me. But here's the thing. I could see that her remorse was genuine. This wasn't crocodile tears or manipulation. She was horrified by what she had done once she really understood it. "I need to fix this," she said. "Not just apologize, but really fix it. I need to figure out why I did this and make sure it never happens again." The next day, Sarah did something that shocked me. She called Jessica, one of her friends, and told her the truth about everything. She admitted to the lies about my work travel, to showing photos of Ryan, to hiding me from them. She said she wanted to introduce me properly and that she was ashamed of how she had behaved. Jessica's response surprised both of us. She said she had suspected something was off but had been too polite to push. She said she and the other friends had actually been curious about me and disappointed that they never got to meet me. She said they had assumed I was either extremely shy or that there were problems in our marriage. Sarah came home from that conversation with a different energy. She said Jessica had asked if we wanted to come to dinner the following weekend, and that she had said yes without asking me first. Then she looked at me with this vulnerable expression and said, "I want to show you off. I want them to see what an amazing husband I have." I'll be honest, I was nervous as hell about that dinner. I kept thinking about how these women had seen photos of Ryan and had this image of who Sarah's husband was supposed to be. I was worried they'd be disappointed or that Sarah would feel embarrassed once they met me. But something unexpected happened at that dinner. Sarah introduced me with genuine pride. She told stories about things I had done for her, about my work, about my hobbies. She held my hand under the table and kept looking at me with this expression I hadn't seen in months, like she was happy to be there with me. The friends were lovely. They asked me about my work, my interests, my opinions on things. They treated me like a real person, not like someone they had to be polite to. And when Sarah went to the bathroom, Jessica actually said to me, "We've been dying to meet you. Sarah talks about you all the time, but she was always so vague about why you couldn't come to things." After dinner, on the drive home, Sarah said something that really hit me. "I was so worried they would judge me for being with you that I couldn't see how lucky I was to have you. I was so focused on what I thought they wanted that I forgot what I actually wanted." That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, Sarah has been making a real effort to change. She's been including me in plans with all her friends, not just the safe ones. She's been working on her own insecurities, reading about self-esteem and social anxiety. She even suggested we do some activities together that would help her see me in new ways. We've been taking dance classes, which has been surprisingly fun. But the biggest change has been in how she talks about our relationship. She started pointing out things she loves about me, both to me and to other people. She's been more affectionate, more present, more proud, I guess. I'm not going to lie and say everything is perfect now. I still have moments where I wonder if she's really changed or if she's just being more careful about hiding her feelings. I still feel a little insecure sometimes when we're around those particular friends. But I can see that she's making a genuine effort, and that means something to me. Mike was right, sometimes people need to really understand the impact of their actions before they can change. Sarah needed to see how her behavior was affecting me, not just know that I was upset about it. We've also started doing something that's been really helpful. Once a week, we have what we call Honesty Hour, where we each share something we've been feeling or thinking about our relationship. It's not always comfortable, but it's helping us communicate better and catch problems before they become bigger issues. I'm cautiously optimistic about where we're headed. Sarah seems genuinely committed to doing better, and I'm working on rebuilding my confidence and not accepting treatment that makes me feel bad about myself. Thanks to everyone who shared their perspectives. A lot of you told me to leave, and I understand why. But I'm glad I tried to work through this first. Sometimes people can change if they really understand what they need to change. TLDR. Had a heart-to-heart with wife about how her actions made me feel. She was genuinely horrified when she understood the impact and has been making real efforts to change. She came clean to her friends and has been including me in social activities. We're working on better communication. Cautiously optimistic but still rebuilding trust. Update 2. It's been 6 weeks since my last update, and I wanted to share what's been happening because the journey has been more complex than I expected. The good news first. Sarah has continued to follow through on her commitments. She's included me in every social gathering with her friends. She stopped making excuses about my work travel. And she's been consistently showing me affection and pride in public. The dance classes have been great. We're actually pretty good together. And it's given us a new shared activity that makes us both feel confident. Her friends have been welcoming and kind. Jessica even told me privately that she's noticed a positive change in Sarah since she started being honest about our relationship. She said Sarah seems more relaxed and genuine now, less focused on trying to impress everyone. But there have been some unexpected challenges too. About 3 weeks ago, Sarah came home from work looking really upset. She sat me down and told me that she had been thinking a lot about why she felt the need to lie about me in the first place. She said she realized that some of her insecurities came from comments her mother had made over the years about my appearance and our relationship. Apparently, Sarah's mom had been making subtle digs about me since we started dating. Things like, "Are you sure he's the one?" And "You're so beautiful you could have anyone." And, "I just want to make sure you're not settling." Sarah said she had been internalizing these comments without realizing it, and they had been feeding her insecurities about being seen with me. This was hard to hear, but it also explained a lot. I had always wondered why Sarah's confidence in our relationship seemed to fluctuate, especially after visits with her family. Sarah decided she needed to have a conversation with her mother about this. She called her and explained what had been happening in our marriage, how the comments had affected her, and how she needed her mother to be more supportive of our relationship. Her mother's response was not great. She basically doubled down, saying she was just looking out for Sarah's best interests, and that she never said anything that wasn't true. She said she thought Sarah was making excuses for her behavior instead of facing reality about our relationship. Sarah was devastated. She had hoped her mother would apologize and commit to being more supportive, but instead, she felt like her mother was telling her she was right to be ashamed of me. This led to some difficult conversations between Sarah and me. She was questioning everything again, not because she didn't love me, but because her mother's reaction made her wonder if she was fooling herself about our relationship. I'll be honest, this was a low point for me. I felt like we were back to square one, with Sarah questioning whether she should be with me. I started wondering if we were just delaying the inevitable, if she would always have doubts about us. But then something happened that changed everything. We were at another dinner with her friends, this time at Jessica's house. Sarah had been quiet all evening, and I could tell she was still struggling with her mother's words. During dessert, one of the other friends, Amanda, started talking about her own relationship struggles. Amanda said she had been dating a guy for 2 years who was perfect on paper, handsome, successful, charming. But she said she was miserable because he was emotionally unavailable and treated her poorly. She said she was thinking about ending things but was worried about what people would think since he seemed like such a catch. Jessica looked at her and said, "Amanda, you need to stop caring what other people think and focus on what makes you happy. Look at Sarah and Mark. They're so clearly in love and happy together. That's what matters." Then she turned to us and said, "You guys are honestly relationship goals. The way you look at each other, the way you support each other, the way you laugh together, that's what real love looks like." I saw Sarah's face change when Jessica said that. It was like something clicked for her. She squeezed my hand under the table and smiled at me with tears in her eyes. On the drive home, Sarah said, "I've been so worried about what everyone else thinks that I forgot to pay attention to what I think. And what I think is that I'm incredibly lucky to be married to you. She said seeing her friend's relationship problems and hearing Jessica's perspective made her realize that she had been focusing on all the wrong things. She said she had been so caught up in surface-level concerns that she had lost sight of what actually mattered in a relationship. That night, Sarah made a decision. She called her mother and told her that she wouldn't tolerate any more negative comments about me or our marriage. She said she was happy that I was a good husband and that her mother needed to respect that or risk damaging their relationship. Her mother was not happy about this conversation. She accused Sarah of being brainwashed and said she was making a mistake, but Sarah stood her ground. She told her mother that she loved her, but that she wouldn't discuss me or our marriage with her anymore unless she could be supportive. It's been 3 weeks since that conversation, and Sarah's mother hasn't called. Sarah is sad about the strain in their relationship, but she says she feels more confident in our marriage than she has in years. We've also made some other changes that have helped. Sarah started seeing a counselor individually to work on her self-esteem and her relationship with her mother. She's learning to recognize when she's seeking external validation and to focus on her own feelings instead. I've been working on my own confidence too. I joined a hiking group and have been making some new friends outside of Sarah's social circle. Having my own social life has made me feel less dependent on Sarah's approval and more secure in myself. The biggest change, though, has been in how we communicate. We're both more honest about our feelings now, even when they're uncomfortable. Sarah tells me when she's feeling insecure, and I tell her when I'm feeling hurt or uncertain. We're addressing issues as they come up instead of letting them build up. Last weekend, we were at a party where we didn't know many people. A woman came up to us and started flirting with me, making comments about how cute I was and asking if I was single. Instead of feeling embarrassed or trying to redirect attention away from me, Sarah put her arm around me and said, "He's taken, and I'm the lucky one." It was such a small moment, but it meant everything to me. I could see that she genuinely felt proud to be with me, not because she had convinced herself to be, but because she actually was. I know we still have work to do. Trust takes time to rebuild, and Sarah is still working through her relationship with her mother. But I feel hopeful about our future in a way I haven't in a long time. We're planning a trip together next month. Just the two of us, no social pressures, no one to impress. I'm looking forward to spending time together as just us, remembering why we fell in love in the first place. TLDR. Wife's mother was a major source of her insecurities about our relationship. Wife confronted her mother and set boundaries. Friend's perspective helped wife realize what actually matters in a relationship. Wife is in individual counseling, we're communicating better, and I'm building my own confidence. Still working on things but feeling hopeful. Final update. It's been 4 months since my last update, and I wanted to give you all a final wrap-up on this situation that consumed so much of my life for a while there. The short version, we made it through. Not just survived, but actually came out stronger on the other side. The trip we took was a turning point. We went to a cabin in the mountains for a long weekend. Just the two of us. No phones, no social media, no outside pressures. We hiked, cooked together, talked for hours, and remembered what it felt like to just enjoy each other's company. On the last night, we were sitting by the fire, and Sarah said something I'll never forget. "I spent so much time worrying about whether I was good enough for other people that I forgot to appreciate that you chose me too. You could have been with anyone, but you chose me. That means something." It was the first time I realized that her insecurities weren't just about me not being good enough for her. They were also about her not feeling good enough for me. She had been so focused on external validation that she had lost sight of the fact that we had chosen each other, and that was valuable in itself. Since then, things have continued to improve. Sarah's relationship with her mother is still strained, but Sarah has gotten better at not letting her mother's opinions affect her self-worth. Her mother has made a few attempts to make peace, but she still hasn't really acknowledged that her comments were hurtful. Sarah has decided that's her mother's issue to work through, not hers. The individual counseling has been huge for both of us. Sarah has learned to recognize when she's seeking validation from others and to check in with her own feelings instead. She's also worked through some childhood issues about never feeling good enough, which I think were at the root of a lot of her behavior. I've been working on my own self-confidence and not tying my self-worth to other people's opinions of me. I realize now that I had been just as focused on external validation as Sarah was. I was devastated by the idea that her friends might not think I was good enough, when really, their opinions shouldn't have mattered at all. The friend group has actually become a source of support for both of us. Jessica has become a close friend to both of us. Nothing romantic, just genuine friendship. And the other women have been welcoming and kind. It turns out that Sarah's fears about their judgment were mostly in her head. They're all dealing with their own insecurities and relationship issues. We've kept up with the dance classes and we've added some other shared activities too. We started a small garden together, we're learning to cook new cuisines, and we've been exploring hiking trails around our area. Having new experiences together has helped us see each other in different ways and build new positive memories. The honesty hour has evolved into just being more open with each other day to day. We're both quicker to speak up when something is bothering us, and we're better at listening without getting defensive. We're not perfect at it, but we're so much better than we were. There was one moment about 2 months ago that really showed me how much had changed. We were at a work event for my job, something Sarah had never come to before because she always had other plans when I invited her. She came with me, met my colleagues, and seemed genuinely interested in my work and proud to be there with me. Afterward, one of my coworkers said to me, "Your wife is lovely. You can tell she really adores you." And I realized that she did. Not because she had convinced herself to, but because she genuinely did. I think the key was that we both had to change. Sarah had to work on her insecurities and learn to value our relationship for what it was, not worry about what others thought of it. But I also had to work on my own confidence and stop accepting treatment that made me feel bad about myself. We're in a good place now. Not perfect, no relationship is, but good. We're planning some bigger trips together, we're talking about some goals for our future, and we're both committed to continuing to work on ourselves and our relationship. I know some people reading this might think we should have just divorced, that the trust was too broken to rebuild. And maybe that would have been the right choice for some couples. But I'm glad we tried to work through it first. The experience taught me that sometimes people hurt the ones they love not because they don't care, but because they're struggling with their own issues. That doesn't make the hurt okay. But it does mean that with enough effort and commitment from both people, it's possible to heal and grow stronger. Sarah isn't the same person who was showing photos of her ex-boyfriend to her friends. I'm not the same person who was hiding on the stairs feeling ashamed of who I was. We're both better versions of ourselves, individually and together. To anyone going through something similar, trust your instincts about what's acceptable in a relationship, but also consider whether your partner is capable of real change. Some people are, some people aren't. Only you can decide which category your partner falls into. And remember that you deserve to be with someone who is proud to be with you. Don't settle for less than that, but also don't give up on someone who is genuinely trying to become the partner you deserve. Thanks to everyone who followed this journey and offered support and advice. Reddit can be a harsh place sometimes, but this community helped me through one of the most difficult periods of my life. We're good, we're happy, and we're moving forward together. TLDR. Took a trip together that helped us reconnect and gain perspective. Both continued individual work on our issues. Wife's relationship with her mother is still strained but no longer affecting our marriage as much. We've developed better communication and shared activities. Trust has been rebuilt over time. We're in a good place now and committed to continuing to grow together.